So now on to one of the hardest boss fights in the game, the Ornstein and Smough boss fight. Now this is a tricky one if you want it to be. If
And
that
you
makes
want
sense.
it to be.
And I make it tricky. The tricky part is that who you kill first determines what items you get out of this boss fight. And I kill Smough. I don't know how the fuck you say that name. First. He's the big fat dude. And after you kill one of the dudes first, the other dude kind of absorbs his soul and becomes significantly stronger. And Ornstein is a much more difficult boss to kill second. So, but his armor that you can buy after beating him second, I end up using for the rest of the game. It's incredibly good, it gives you very good defense, and it's incredibly lightweight compared to a lot of other armors in the game. So, I would recommend, now I didn't do this for this, but I should have, I would recommend kindling that first bonfire up to plus 20, which you can do. No, you can't do that yet. Oh, fuck. Ignore what I just said. You can't do that yet in this game. Ignored. So anyway,
Ooh.
so he's incredibly strong right now, and like I was saying,
a finishing move.
so you get his soul, and you can buy his armor from a dude kind of by the Firelink Shrine at the beginning of the game. And he's one of these bosses that it's going to take you a couple tries to beat him. There's nothing easy about him, and he's one of these bosses where you. It's best to just stay as close as humanly possible to him and just keep poking away at him. And the hard part is learning when he's going to do his grab that he can stab you and like break your shield with, basically, like unblockable kind of grab thing. So you might have seen a couple times already.
Get him in the taint.
Like when his spear becomes electrocuted and gets like that right there, that was his grab move. But you can avoid it by just getting like even closer to him, which is kind of counterintuitive, and just like running right at him or like rolling under his legs and just getting like, you know, tickle his taint and play with his balls a little bit, and he won't be able to stab you with his grab. Now right now I'm using I think the full Hovel's armor. I'm not sure. Probably most of Hovel's armor. A lightning spear plus 5. I shouldn't have upgraded the lightning spear to a plus 5. I should have upgraded the lightning Uchigatana to a plus 5. So I'm using, and then I'm using the ring of favor and protection, which is the little yellow arrow that's underneath my
Stamina bar.
And then I'm also using the increased stamina regeneration ring, which I got in the whatever the area is right before Ash Lake. I forget what it's called. So he also has that jump and like ground butt slam attack. So when you see him kind of like leap up in the air and hover for a second, like right there, just roll the fuck away from that. Like that does a ton of damage to you, and I got burned by that a couple times. This took me quite a few tries. Now I also made this unnecessarily difficult for myself by not summoning extra help. If you're struggling with this, if you're in human form, like right outside of the boss, you will most likely see quite a few summon signs to summon other people to help you, which makes this boss very easy to do. But depending on who gets summoned, you might not necessarily get someone smart enough to know that you should kill Ornstein second.
Yeah.
So you're kind of gambling with it depending on
what you want the outcome to be.
What you want like if you care. And quite honestly, you should care because his armor is really, really good. So I'm out of Estus flasks. I've got a quarter of his health left, and I just pull off an absolutely magical run for the last quarter of this. Yeah. Now, the shitty thing about the auto-targeting in this game is that on boss fights like this, there'll be a lot of times where they're so tall and like you can see him kind of targeted on his waist that I'll be stabbing at him and I don't hit him because it's kind of like at a weird angle and I just completely miss with all my attacks.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's tricky like that. But fortunately, unless it's you know, like I was saying before, you can block almost all of his attacks that aren't lightning charged or the big butt stomp, and just stay as close as humanly possible to him. And you know, if you need to heal, if you still have Estus flasks, kind of use some of these pillars as cover. Like, he's not super smart about cover, and he'll try to attack you even though the pillar will protect you. And like, he won't be able to do damage through it.
Victory!
Yep. So now that you've killed him, run up these one of these elevators on the right, or right or left, and you will talk to this new kind of...
Oh, that's a cool elevator.
Yeah.
What if you get on that drill bit part?
You can't. Actually, I've tried just to see what happens. So at the very beginning of the game, if you want to buy his armor, and it's kind of expensive, but you should have enough souls from killing him to be able to afford it. At the Firelink Shrine, if you remember going into the Undead Burg, there's that large kind of bridge at the beginning that you had to roll onto, kind of like fall onto.
Yeah, I remember that bridge.
There will be a new merchant on the lower part of that bridge they have to kind of jump to. Like, at the most inconvenient place. Like, seriously, dude, location. Like, why the fuck are you there? And he will sell you Ornstein's armor, which like I was saying before, I use for the rest of the game.
It'd be cool if you could, like, shout at him, if you come over here, I'll buy your goods.
I'll give you 20% extra. Just, you come to me. So this chick's kind of crazy. She's got huge tits. So take a drink for in-game tits.
Okay. Consider it done.
And... it's weird because she's like, so she gives you this item that kind of unlocks the second half of the game. Oh, don't worry, I zoom in on them with the binoculars that you get in game.
I'm like squinting because the screen we're looking at, it's
like a preview screen. It's very tiny.
It's like an eighth of what you'd normally see.
And so she gives you this item that kind of opens up the second half of the game. Or maybe the last third of the game. Anyway. But she's also like a false princess. So eventually I end up shooting her with an arrow, and she ends up being an evil boss. And turns into one of the harder bosses in the game. And kind of takes you to another side quest area.
But those cans are so comforting.
They're quite epic, but as you can see right now.
Especially with this music, I just want to snuggle up in there.
Snuggle. Because motorboating son of a bitch. So I pull out the binoculars, the binoculars. And I thought that looked kind of like a penis.
That does look a lot like a penis.
And her heaving bosoms. Look at those things.
Yeah, they're
heaving.
She's enormous, but they're even enormous for her frame.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So anyway, eventually you'll be shooting her.
Achievement for...
like, you're supposed to
Please tell me that achievement was for zooming in with binoculars.
Nope, I wish. But, yeah, you're supposed to shoot her. You're supposed to kill her eventually. And I wouldn't shoot her right away because they're those two large,
Whoa.
large steel titans that are... oh, now I'm showing where the merchant is. No. Now I'm showing opening up the Lordvessel and kind of like the cutscene that comes along with it. So you talk to this dude, and he eats you and like spits you out in this other world. This game. Oh, of course, right?
Like, we're 60-something videos in, and
it's still crazy.
I thought I would have been, like, accustomed to this game by now. Every single video is crazier than the last. This guy looks like Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Forgive me.
So one thing to note too is that you can also just kind of roll down this pit, and it doesn't kill you instantly, like the way rolling down every other pit in this game does. Like sometimes this dude will be asleep, and you obviously don't want to attack him because he's an NPC. But yeah, this makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
This game. This game is Japanese, dude.
I don't even.
Like sometimes you forget this game's Japanese.
I can't even wrap my head around it.
And then you remember it's Japanese.
It's crazier than Bayonetta.
No, it's not crazier than Bayonetta.
Yeah, it is.
There's a lot more story to Bayonetta. There's a lot more crazy bosses in Bayonetta. Yeah. Okay, the cutscenes in Bayonetta are
weirder than Bayonetta.
This is weirder, yeah.
Bayonetta's fucking weird, too.
So, now you drop down the Lordvessel. And, last part of the game.
Very well. As Kingseeker, I shall now instruct you, the Lord's successor, in your next task. To achieve your fate, fill the vessel with powerful souls, commensurate to the great soul of Gwyn. Scarce few possess such brilliant souls. Grave Lord Nito, the Witch of Izalith, the 4 kings of New Londo, who inherited the shards of Gwyn's soul, and Lord Gwyn's former confidant, Seath the Scaleless. All of their souls are required to satiate the Lordvessel. Are you ready? Then we shall return. Stay still for a moment.